What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I want to share with you today my absolute #1 pick if I had to pick one bait to throw on Lake Guntersville from now until probably middle of March, and that is the Simcoe 75. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to show you some of the cool baits, the Simcoe 75, and explain to you why I like the Simcoe 75 so much and what it is about that particular bait that I think is better than any other lipless bait out there. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it and I'll explain to you why I love the Simcoe 75, especially for Lake Guntersville this time of the year. Okay, guys, the Simcoe 75. We're going to dive into this bait a little bit and I'm going to explain to you why I like the Simcoe 75 so much and why, if I had to pick one lure to throw on Guntersville right now, or for any lake with grass right now this time of the year, Sam Rayburn, you know, any of your fisheries. I'm just listing a couple of really well-known places: Rayburn and Guntersville, Seminole. If you had to fish one particular bait, I'd probably choose this guy, and I'll explain to you why. This is a great color right here. This is Matte Tiger, I believe is what it's called. It's just a good orange color. The color name isn't that important. You guys can go on Nishine Lure Works website, where you guys can go on to Tackle Warehouse and you can find the Simcoe 75. I believe that they're in stock everywhere. Last year they were hard to come by, and I'll tell you one thing: the fish have not figured out that this thing catches them yet. Okay, guys, so let's dive into the Simcoe 75. So first of all, Hiroshi Nishine is the designer of this lipless crankbait. He's a really well-known bait designer in Japan, and really should be just as well known in the United States, because his baits flat out catch them, and they're, in my opinion, more thought out and more thought through designs than any other company on the market, arguably. I mean, he spends countless hours designing these lures, designing these baits, and making sure everything is perfect to a T. And I mean hours, I mean not just hours, I mean days, weeks, months, years. Hiroshi on the Erie 115 MD, he spent 10 years perfecting that bait before he released it to the general public. So what that means is he is making sure all the nuances of the bait are just perfect, and he killed it with the Simcoe 75, as I almost hooked myself. But this is a bait that he did a really good job designing. I mean, there's not a single bait he comes out with that he doesn't do a good job designing. That's what makes Nishine Lure Works so top notch. But I will talk to you about the Simcoe 75 and why I like it so much. You know, everybody probably has a different reason why they like this bait if they've thrown it before. So there's two different models. There's the Simcoe 75, which, as you guys, you've heard me say it a bunch already in this video. And then there is the Simcoe 75 HW. So what the HW stands for is heavy weight. So this one is weighted much heavier. So the Simcoe 75 is a little heavier than a 1/2 ounce, a little lighter than a 5/8. It's the perfect weight for what it is. I mean, it really is. It's perfect to a T. But the heavy weight is actually designed to be much heavier, but in the same exact body size. So you can see in my left hand here, I've got the HW, and in my right hand, I've got the regular Simcoe 75. They are the exact same profile, the exact same diameter. You know, they're same. I mean, the bait is identical. The only difference is there's more weight inside the HW, and it's weighted more forward. So what this allows you to do is you can fish this HW more vertically. It's good for jigging, or you can just wind it and it gets down there much deeper than a traditional lipless crankbait. So this not only allows you to have this awesome profile, thin profile for cutting grass, but it also gives you a little bit more option to fish deeper than what most guys are throwing this size lipless crankbait, or it allows you to vertically jig it. So pretty cool that he has the HW as well as the regular Simcoe 75. So besides the two different models, one of my favorite features about this bait is, you know, a lipless crankbait, a traditional one is like a Bill Lewis rattle trap, right? And its name, rattle trap. That is what these things are known for, is rattling and making a bunch of noise and having a tight vibration and getting a lot of bites. So what makes the Simcoe 75 different than like a rattle trap is Just listen, you'll hear it. You listen to the sound that he makes. Absolutely no sound at all. So these are silent. And that, in my opinion, is one of the biggest reasons why this is such a good lipless crankbait. It is silent, and especially on a lake like Guntersville, Sam Rayburn, Seminole, anywhere you're fishing with a lot of grass, anywhere where you're ripping a trap or a lipless crankbait through the grass, they're hearing rattles and vibration all the time, and they're used to that stuff. So anytime you can mix it up and throw something different, you're going to get more bites. And this thing right here flat out catches them, and it catches a lot of big ones. I've caught a lot of 5 to 7 pounders on the Simcoe 75 over the last 2 seasons, and it's just a big fish magnet. There's something about this bait, something about the vibration it puts off, as well as it being silent, that I think really catches the big ones. A couple more features that I really like. Comes with super good high quality split rings on here, and it also comes with these really nice treble hooks. These are Ichikawa treble hooks. They're a super slick coated, really sharp, kind of a cross between like an EWG and a round bend hook, and they work really well. They hook fish really extremely well. They stay sharp for a long time, and they're stock. You don't have to worry about changing the hooks out on this bait. And it also comes with a snap. You know, a lot of baits nowadays, they come with a split ring. What's cool about the snap is you can easily pop it off, grab a different color Simcoe, and put it on there while the snap is still on your line without having to retie. The other option is you've got 2 loops on the top of the Simcoe, as you can see. This back loop is going to give you a wider, little bit harder vibration. This front loop is going to give you a tighter, less hard vibration. So if you're fishing clear water, I recommend you go to the front loop. If you're fishing a little bit more stained or dirty water, I recommend going to the back loop. Or if the water's really cold, go to the front one because it's a little bit tighter vibration. The water's a little bit warmer, maybe it's in like the low 50s, upper 40s. That back line tie is going to be your guy. So easily switch that up on the fly too if you want to try it differently. One of the other awesome things about the Simcoe is it comes in some awesome fish catching colors. This is BPB Chartreuse Shad. This is one of my absolute favorites. I think it is my favorite one. Then you've got some red options here. You've got this guy. That's tied on my line right now on my rod. You've also got this guy, which is a red one. It's kind of more of like a chrome red. These are some awesome red colors. You know, red's really, really good when the water's cold. So we have some really awesome red variants, as well as really nice natural shad pattern. This is like a nice translucent kind of shad, but it's got like a purple hue to it, a little bit of yellow belly, just a really, really perfect shad imitation right there. Really, really works well, mimics a shad absolutely perfectly. You guys can see that purple in there, but when it's cloudy, this thing almost has like a pearl kind of color to it. It's really, really good color. Mimics a threadfin or a small gizzard shad perfectly. And then you've also got this guy, which is really unique. That's a black and blue lipless crankbait, and they're all matte finish. That's another thing. They're all matte finish baits. They don't have gloss. So I prefer a matte finish bait. So I really like that about these. This is that black and blue. I think it's Black Otama is the color on this one. Super unique color. That's going to work really good. You know, black and blue vibrating jig works really good. Why wouldn't a black and blue lipless work really good? So super awesome. Not very many companies offer a black and blue lipless. You've also got old school colors, kind of like this guy here. This is like your traditional kind of fire tiger color. But anyway, guys, I really like the color selection from Nishine on the Simcoe. And like I said, the tight vibration of the different line ties, being able to adjust the vibration, as well as it being silent, and it just rips through the grass so easily. You can rip that Simcoe through the grass and clean it faster than just about any lipless crankbait I've ever used. I think it comes down to it just being so thin. Let me grab, here we go. Here's a traditional. This is a red eye shad. So this is a really, really standard bait on the market. This is a 1/2 ounce red eye shad. You can see the thickness of that bait. It's not a very thick bait. And I mean, this bait cuts through the grass okay, Look at the difference of that between the red eye shad and the Simcoe 75. Look how much thinner the Simcoe is. I'd say it's probably 50% thinner than the red eye shad, and that's a size comparison right there for the red eye shad to the Simcoe 75. So that, I think, is an attribute to why it cuts through the grass so well. And if you guys are, you know, if you fished grass with a lipless bait before or a vibrating jig before, you know the key to getting the fish to bite most of the times is when you clear that bait out of the grass, those fish will trigger and bite it. So the quicker you can get it out of the grass, the more likely and the more often you're going to get bites. So that, in my opinion, is one of the biggest things about the Simcoe. He also casts really good. Anyway, guys, those are some of the reasons why I like the Simcoe 75. I think the Simcoe is the lipless of all liplesses. If I had to pick one bait to throw on Guntersville right now, it'd be the Simcoe 75. Appreciate you guys watching. Catch me next time on the next video on the channel. Hope you guys have a good one and tight lines.